Ruben Vardanyan, an Armenian-Russian magnate known for his involvement in so-called charitable and humanitarian efforts, recently made headlines when he was nominated for the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize. However, his journey to prominence took a controversial turn when he was apprehended by Azerbaijani authorities in September 2023. Vardanyan, who had been actively supporting separatist movements, was arrested in connection with his financing and advocacy for separatism in Azerbaijan's Karabakh region. His presence in Azerbaijan, following the 2020 Armenia-Azerbaijan war, raised suspicions, especially after he renounced his Russian citizenship and moved to Karabakh illegally in 2022. While Vardanyan is often associated with his involvement in Karabakh affairs, his story carries darker implications beyond mere separatist leadership. On June 17, 2023, Ruben Vardanyan's name appeared on the Ukrainian database Myrotvorets, which identifies individuals associated with Russian aggression. Vardanyan is categorized as a person subject to immediate arrest and extradition to law enforcement agencies of Ukraine or NATO member states. His inclusion was due to his high-ranking positions in a prominent Russian company involved in activities undermining Ukraine's territorial integrity and independence. Before this incident, Vardanyan was listed among sanctioned individuals by the Ukrainian government for his role on the board of Volga-Dnieper, a Russian air cargo firm known for its significant participation in Russian military airlift operations. From 2005 to 2022, Vardanyan maintained close ties with the Kremlin, holding positions in the Expert Council under both the President and government of the Russian Federation, typically reserved for individuals with strong connections to the Kremlin. Additionally, Vardanyan led the investment bank Troika Dialog, which merged with Sberbank of the Russian Federation in 2011, further enhancing his influence within Russia's financial sector. In March 2019, a group of 22 members of the European Parliament called for an investigation into Ruben Vardanyan's activities. Despite his considerable wealth in Russia, much of it accrued through entities now under Western sanctions, questions arose about the source of his wealth. In 2022, 46 members of the US Congress pushed for personal sanctions against Vardanyan, but no concrete action followed. 2 years later, Vardanyan took on the role of so-called state minister in the government of Karabakh, located in Azerbaijani territory controlled by Armenian separatists. Despite his alleged criminal connections and leadership in an unrecognized separatist entity, Western media even conducted interviews with him. European MPs referenced findings from the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, OCCRP, which implicated Vardanyan in laundering billions of euros for close associates of the Kremlin. He gained the nickname Kremlin's Wallet, with Armenia serving as a central hub for many of his questionable financial transactions. According to the Washington Times, Vardanyan has ties to Tehran, which purportedly supports Moscow's military actions in Ukraine. These connections to Iran are believed to be facilitated through the Russian Gorshakov Foundation, an organization hosting events in various countries, including Armenia, featuring speakers endorsed by the Iranian government. In 2022, despite publicly renouncing his Russian citizenship to avoid sanctions, Ruben Vardanyan's ties to Russia persisted. Unlike many who lost assets and privileges upon renouncing citizenship, Vardanyan retained ownership of his assets and businesses, effectively shielding his wealth from sanctions. On September 27, 2023, following Azerbaijan's counter-terrorism measures in Karabakh, a significant event occurred. Vardanyan, who had entered the country illegally and assumed the role of so-called state minister, was apprehended by Azerbaijani border service personnel at the Lakin checkpoint while attempting to flee to Armenia. An investigation into criminal charges against Vardanyan is ongoing under the Azerbaijani State Security Service's jurisdiction. In summary, Vardanyan faces serious charges under the Azerbaijani Criminal Code, including financing terrorism, involvement in illegal armed groups, and illegal border crossing. These allegations suggest his involvement in destabilizing the region. His fate will be decided by the Azerbaijani judiciary. Before praising Vardanyan as a candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize, the Western public should be fully informed about the murky aspects of his background.